People tend to assume the worst of me when it comes to me and my relationship with Nintendo. They think that I'm brown-nosing, they think that I'm just going above and beyond for them, and that sometimes I am biased and I'm a Nintendo fanboy. First off, I mean, yeah. I am a Nintendo fanboy, but to say that I'm a Nintendo fanboy without looking at the other side of the spectrum is weird for me, because personally, I'm not just a Nintendo fanboy. I'm a Microsoft fanboy. I'm a Sony fanboy. I love the old PC games. I love new PC games. I love indie developers. I love video games, and that's the thing I want to try and instill in my audience, is that I love video games. I love celebrating video games. I love honoring video games, and that to me is more important than any aspect you'll take away from any show that I create, is that I love video games. So today, while everyone assumes that I am the biggest Nintendo fanboy, I would like to show my support to another company that, if I had the opportunity to work with them, I absolutely would. Today, I'm going to talk about my love for the original console of the PlayStation with Sony. As Sony flexes its muscles in the VR market, I've started to get a little bit more nostalgic and reflect back on their humble beginnings. It's safe to say that anyone that touched a PlayStation 1 knows exactly how strong the pull of nostalgia that comes from it, from seeing and hearing the booting of a classic PlayStation 1 screen, especially when it's followed by whichever game was placed into it. Welcome to my top 10 PlayStation 1 games. Now, let me preface that some of these games are incredible masterpieces, while others are really goddamn bad compared to what came out on the PS1. But I dug really deep to Gerard's 9-year-old self, and this list is a representation of my young and old souls together. Yes, I'll be drunk with nostalgia the whole time. Sometimes I might even just be drunk. And whether you agree with my list or not, well, you can just go f*** yourself. Just kidding. You'll hate it anyways. I tried. But you know what? Let me know what your top 10 are in the comments below. And be nice. Please.
Number 10.
ESPN 2 Extreme Sports came out late in 1996, in the age when demo discs were all I could get my hands on. Whenever I asked my mom for 2 Extreme, she told me it was sold out everywhere. This was unacceptable to a kid like me, so one day I called the Toys R Us, and they told me they had exactly 1 copy left. Told my mom immediately, and when she came home, she told me they had already sold out by the time she got there, which was a lie because she got it for me as a surprise gift already. But me being a baby, I cried my eyes out for the next several hours. She eventually caved in and revealed that she in fact did buy the game after all. My mom was the best, and I was a shithead. Am I still a shithead? I think I'm still okay. I'm alright. Anyways, in 2 Extreme, you could roller skate in Las Vegas, snowboard in Japan, bike in Africa, or skateboard in Los Angeles. And regardless of location, the amount of announcer sounds woven into every 3 seconds truly made this game exciting for younger Gerard. 2 Extreme as a whole was its own horrible joke of a game that just got worse as you played it. Is it me, or do you feed off of worthless crap piles when you're little? The best part of this game may just be the menu screens. Combined with the best parts of the soundtrack, satisfying twist sounds, and Mortal Kombat photorealistic sprite work, it greatly overshadowed the rest of the game. The creators must have spent 80% of the game's development time at that point before they realized, oh my god, the deadline's next month. Oh shit, okay, let's put some races here. Maybe just 1 more extreme sports type to get its own zone. And okay, give each zone 1 extremely stereotypical background. And yeah, done. That's the game. For the cherry on top, you could even assault the other competitors in the race. That's right, the devs had a built-in cheat mechanic as if it was just another part of the game. Road Rash did the same mechanic all the time, and in those games, holy shit was it brutal. At least here, it's only half bad. But goddamn, you'd be a jerk if you tripped anyone moving at high speeds on anything.
Number 9.
The next game on my list is dedicated to my cousin Nick. He is the one to thank for guiding me and introducing me to the best games when reliable information wasn't really accessible. He was very influential for many of the games that made it into this list, let alone my gaming lifestyle choices. He recommended the next game on my list, Cool Borders 2, the perfect blend of arcade racer with in-home console mechanics. Cool Borders 2 had everything a boarder cares about: style, speed, and the most kick-ass soundtrack needed for carving the slopes. See, I was born with a super rare back condition, and I have struggled with that intense pain my entire life, and I wasn't able to do many physical activities. Cool Borders 2 was the first game to give me a sense of what being a true athlete, reaching goals, and feeling accomplished was all about. And it felt good, like its namesake. I became the Cool Border. For the graphic engines the devs had at the time, the hills were designed surprisingly well. A few levels felt downright perilous in a life or death kind of way. While the menu screens were not the same caliber as 2 Extreme, you did have the option of choosing many different characters, as well as their clothes, which, to be fair, at the time was a very big deal. Plus, there was significantly less emphasis on competitive cheating.
We get it. It was a bad decision in an imperfect time, but it happened.
The ace up this game's sleeve was ultimately unknown. They included secret characters, like you could be a goddamn alien, and he was super overpowered too. Alright, now that 9 and 10 are done, we'll be doing more legit games from here on out. Thanks for letting me indulge. And for those of you wondering, I would probably just put Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 for 10 and 9. Let's be real, that's the greatest game ever, am I right? I'm right.
Number 8.
For the longest time, I wasn't allowed to play M-rated games, but my buddy, Chris DeLuca, had access to all of the M-rated games I could only dream of playing. Mortal Kombat, Doom, Conker's Bad Fur Day, you name it, he had it. One day, when he got his PlayStation, he blew my mind with a weird controller I had never seen before, the PlayStation Dualshock. Who would have thought this thing would have had such a strong impact to this day? What better introduction to this controller than in Resident Evil 2, the DualShock Edition? And holy crap, we sat down and played this thing as much as we could. Now, I played this when I was super young, so for a young boy, when you're killing zombies and just barely mastering the ability to read, you still tend to focus on the undead corpses chewing holes in your neck versus trying to figure out the difference between a red and green plant. I just loved everything about RE2. Raccoon City was dark and ominous throughout, and it was always impossible to tell when the zombie you were shooting was for sure not going to get back up. This made me so uneasy and continually kept me on my toes. Being super patient is no easy task when you're a kid. Combining this patience and ammo conservation with critical problem solving proved to make Resident Evil 2 the hardest game for my younger self. I'd say the ultimate testament to Resident Evil 2 being a good game is the fact that it made me desperately want to go back and play the first one. And that's what any sequel should strive to do. But in all honesty, I was too scared to go back. The first time I played Resident Evil 1 was the remake on the Dreamcast and eventually GameCube, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And that one made the original game look like Legos in comparison.
Number 7.
Whenever I think about the PlayStation era, I fondly remember this next game every single time. Long before joining Enix, SQUARESOFT created the delightfully bizarre action RPG Brave Fencer Musashi. Combined with puns, a somewhat silly story with tonally similar voice acting, and surprisingly fun and deep combat, Brave Fencer Musashi was unstoppably charming. This was all paired nicely with a cheery soundtrack to make for one magical gaming experience. I reviewed this game all the way back in 2012, with Completionist was just a little old baby channel. It was Musashi's task to defend the all-you-can-eat kingdom from the Thirst Quencher Empire, wherein located is their main stronghold, Soda Fountain. As you might have guessed, there is a strange food theme here throughout the entire game. This is especially apparent when every all-you-can-eat villager has some kind of meat word in their name. Along with the day and night cycle, Musashi also needs to sleep in order to keep his combat skills in peak condition. And to this day, I find that mechanic to be a brilliant addition to the immersion of the game. Unfortunately, Square never released Musashi to the digital store, which is very weird because nearly every PlayStation 1 game has seen a digital release. Please, Square, I need to save Princess Filet-O-Fish for old time's sake. And please bring this series back because goddamn, Brave Fencer Samurai or whatever the PS2 game was, that is not the same game that I knew and loved. Woo!
Number 6.
As all of you hopefully know, I really like Tekken. Tekken 1 and 2 were those types of games that I never had a memory card for as a kid, so I had to beat the game and unlock as much as I could, all before bedtime happened. The encroaching death of all my progress was right there in my face. But by the time Tekken 3 came out, I was overjoyed to get back to what I loved doing. Spamming infinite crouch combos with Jack until my friends rage quit because they didn't know how to play, or low block. Come on! Just hold back and down, goddammit! Initially released in the arcades in 1997, Tekken 3 did not hit the PlayStation until the next year, but it did hit hard, guns blazing. And I think you know what kind of guns. Big ones, but ones that have bazookas, maybe a sniper rifle. I don't know, the game's pretty tight. Tekken 3 took everything I enjoyed from Tekken 2 and amplified it past my wildest expectations. The graphics were easily triple the quality, the mechanics were much cleaner, and this sequel put Tekken on the map in the competitive scene. People were finally taking it seriously. It even added several game modes besides one-on-one or story mode. You could Jackie Chan your way through a beat-em-up area in Tekken Force mode, or you could pelt your friends with a low-gravity beach ball in Tekken Ball mode. Both modes added a slight change of pace to help recenter your chi. And now, I'd like to take a moment to talk about the one, the only, Eddie Gordo. There is no challenge too difficult, no battle too overwhelming, no mountain too high, no valley too low, no river wide enough, sorry, I just got a little carried away, I can't help it. He puts a song in my heart. Eddie Gordo does it all. He is the perfect combination of a limber gymnast with a cyclone super fighting trapeze artist. Look, I don't care what the that means, but it makes perfect sense when you see him in action. Why are we talking about him? Because Eddie Gordo is my favorite Tekken character of all time, and they just announced him in Tekken 7, so I am so hype. God damn it, where's my Eddie game, huh? Call up Namco, give me that phone.
Hello, thank you for calling Bandai Namco. How can I assist you today?
Eddie Gordo, his own game, now, thank you, bye.
Number 5.
The next PlayStation masterpiece on my list is none other than Castlevania Symphony of the Night, the game that helped coin the term Metroidvania. You know a game is good when it has an impact on the gaming community forever. Graphically, it paved the way for Castlevania as a whole, taking the simple side-scroller and giving it incredible new features we hadn't seen before in a Castlevania title. Symphony of the Night hit all of the right marks and kept me coming back for more. The gameplay was fluid and dynamic, although not super challenging, but always a great time. The visuals were gorgeous and consistent with the aesthetic of the setting, and Symphony of the Night's story was unquestionably passion-driven, combined with equally passionate characters. Most of all, the musical score of the game perfectly completed the eerie action atmosphere. Even having all of these aspects in mind, the game hits you with a special alternate ending that literally doubles the entire length of the game, complete with new items, new enemies, new bosses, and just goddamn, this is exactly how you make a great game even better. A big part of my job is playing every game multiple times, so replay value is a major factor in my assessments. Symphony of the Night offers so many minute ways to differentiate gameplay to alter the experience of every playthrough. The RPG attribute allocation and companions you equip can vary the gameplay in so many different ways. This game is a mother-flippin' masterpiece, and I ain't playing around, especially since I just played this for the first time a few years ago. That's right, I am not nostalgia blinded by this game. It is tight. You all should play it.
Number 4.
PlayStation and Final Fantasy go hand in hand, and while I wanted to limit myself to one Final Fantasy title, I decided to technically go with 2, especially because this next game barely even feels like a Final Fantasy title. When I first played this game, I was hesitant and was not looking forward to it, but it surpassed all of my expectations. It was released between Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII. It isn't mentioned that much in the gaming community here on YouTube, and I still cannot tell you why. This curveball from SQUARESOFT still managed to set the Final Fantasy mood and tell a beautifully complex story on nothing but a grid. And yet, it also earned the title of my favorite tactical RPGs. I'm talking none other than Final Fantasy Tactics. Pro Jared and I played Tactics recently here on the show, and as we played it, we remembered how much sharing this game with friends is such a great time. While the video will explain so much more about the game, I have to say, this game truly brought me and my friends together. And you know, now that I think about it, I guess that's what this list truly is. A fond look back. It's a tribute to the memories of who you used to be and how that helped shape you to who you are today. And overall, how life was in the past. So overall, I guess I'm saying this list is for future me. If you're listening, with all things considered, today is a good time, and so is your time. Use your memories to enjoy the now, because that's all we have. Video games are tight.
Number 3.
Another true testament to a game's replay value came in the form of Mega Man X4. It completely recaptured the aspects from Mega Man X that I loved, and it built upon that. Which, by the way, you should check out our playthrough of Mega Man X on Super Beard Bros, because that game is awesome. It's my favorite game of all time. One of my favorites, at least why you are getting it on Beard Bros. Everything about this channel and Beard Bros is based on that game, so you should go check it out, please. Thank you. X4's story is compelling yet simple, and if you don't replay the game as Zero, you'll miss out on half the experience. Many people think that the voice acting and the pacing is really weird, mistranslated, and bizarre, but it's that certain cheekiness that I love. I love how campy it is. I love how weird it is. There's just something so cohesive about it that I'm convinced otherwise makes it fun. X1 was the perfect Mega Man title. It set the bar very high. X2 and X3 gameplay-wise did the exact same things as X1. So really, all it could only flesh out at this point is plot. While X2 did a pretty okay job, X3 really dropped the ball here. Then here comes X4, and suddenly you have a standalone narrative from two different characters and their own experiences. That's what I'm talking about. I'm still waiting on a game to prove me wrong, but as it stands, Mega Man X4 is the last good main Mega Man entry in my eyes. I know everyone makes fun of its cutscenes, but I love them. The gameplay is so goddamn dynamic compared to its predecessors, and Zero is no longer an afterthought. He's the forefront. We learned so much more about Zero and who he is, and why this war is constantly happening over and over again.
What am I fighting for?
That's awesome. That's the depth I want out of a Mega Man game.
Number 2.
So let's get a little real, guys. Social media kills me sometimes with negativity and overflowing hate. It constantly wears on me. Every comment adds to the burden that I will forever carry. But if anything can bring me back, if any game can smelling salt me from the brink, if any game can resurrect my flattened body, it's Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. The best platformer on the PlayStation. What's up? Fight me. You all disagree anyways. You might as well fight me now. Let's go. There are so many reasons why Crash 2 was revolutionary for its time. For starters, you're forced to team up with your nemesis from the previous game, and Cortex, by means of a dope-ass projection face in the center of your hub world. On top of that, Crash is brainless and mute, so he'll play along with whatever. Actually, sheesh, now that I think about it, I kind of have doubts about his moral compass. Except for the clothing on his lower half, he would just be a regular Bandicoot, but I just can't help but loving him the same, chin, chest, and all. Crash Bandicoot 1 was the first of its kind to squeeze entertainment out of what was originally the worst part about playing a game: dying. This sequel keeps the train rolling at over 25 different death animations. As a kid, this inevitably made a completionist out of me, seeking out all the different ways you could die in each new level, which was rather refreshing for something I usually avoid at all costs. Cortex Strikes Back successfully skyrocketed our victory dancing Bandicoot into PlayStation's poster boy. Not to mention, he's recently going to be getting a major reboot in the upcoming Insane Trilogy Mega Remastered, scheduled to be released in June. It'll send me speeding through sweet nostalgia lane, but with a completely new set of paint. It's practically a different game, right? I could complete these games again and none of you would notice. No? Can I? Tweet at me. I want to know, because I really want to play it, but you're going to be like, you already played it. Let's go. Tell me.
Tell me!
Number 1.
If you've been a fan of my channel for at least the past 3 years, then you'll know exactly why this game is my number 1. One that I guarantee everyone will be very disappointed in me for, but I mean, come on. I literally made 9 videos on this entire story, so should be pretty clear at this point what my number 1 is. I have an epic picture of Cloud on my work computer background, and I may never change it to anything else.
I mean, come on, guys. Can you tell how much you love this game? Can you honestly honestly tell how much I love this game and this franchise and this company. I don't think you can. I have a f***ing sword.
Final Fantasy VII changed my life, and I still think about it each and every day. It's one of the most influential, controversial, and is one of the most important games in gaming history. It's a story of loss, identity, friendship, betrayal, and growth. Final Fantasy VII created some of the most iconic characters in gaming. We wrote a song about its villain in my boy band, and I dedicated a whole month or two of Completionist episodes to just skim the surface and depth of this game. I put a ton of time into each of those episodes. I brought in many of my friends in the YouTube world to discuss how important the narrative has been for them. Just like Cloud's friends help him to discover who he is throughout his journey, I lean on my friends for the support I need to succeed and live my life to the fullest. So, if you have some time and want some more in-depth thoughts about my #1 game, I implore you to check out my entire Final Fantasy VII month. There is so much to say about the game that all I can really say is you've all heard about it, you all know about the game enough, and if you need any other thing to keep you motivated in the next few years, the remake is on its way, and I hope to God it's good. In the meantime, check out all my videos and let me know what you think. So those are my top 10 PlayStation 1 games. I know, a very bizarre, weird list that didn't include some of your favorites, but you know what? The beauty of your top 10 is that it is yours and yours alone. So let me know what you think. You know what? Tell me what yours are in the comments below. And hey, if you're new here, click that subscribe button below me. If you want to check out last week's video, give it a click right there as well. And I think that's it. That's all, guys. As always, stay awesome, keep playing video games, and I'll see you guys next time.